Hello everyone, Jonathan Schlack, EAS Weather here with a severe weather update. We have an enhanced risk for severe weather today that covers southeastern Iowa, northern Illinois, northwestern Indiana, and a very teeny tiny part of the very far extreme southwestern corner of Michigan. And surrounding that, we have a slight risk for severe weather today that covers the very far extreme east central part of Nebraska, far southeastern Minnesota, most of Iowa, northern Missouri, southern half of Wisconsin, central Illinois, northern half of Indiana, southwestern Michigan, and very far northwestern Ohio. Moving to the east, we have a slight risk for severe weather today that covers central and west central New York State and north central Pennsylvania. And going back here, we have another slight today that covers far southeastern Wyoming, northeastern Colorado, western Nebraska, and northwestern Kansas. And we have a broad marginal risk area today that covers southeastern Montana, eastern half of Wyoming, eastern half of Colorado, most of South Dakota, all of Nebraska pretty much, most of Kansas, a lot of Minnesota, northwestern Iowa, parts of northern Missouri, the northern half of Wisconsin, central Illinois, most of Michigan pretty much, parts of southern Indiana, all of Ohio, north central Kentucky, the northern half of West Virginia, north central Virginia, Washington, D.C., the northern half of Maryland, most of Pennsylvania. The marginal risk includes my area. The marginal risk also encompasses northwestern New Jersey, most of New York State, which does not include New York City or Long Island. The marginal risk also covers all of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, pretty much all of Massachusetts, southwestern Vermont, and southwestern New Hampshire. And going down here, we have a marginal risk for severe weather today that covers southeastern Arizona and the very far extreme southwestern edge of New Mexico. So, going over to the tornado threat for today, we have a 5% chance of an isolated tornado today that covers southeastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois, and the very far extreme northeastern corner of Missouri. Don't update on me. Yeah, the brown area is where we have a 5% chance of an isolated tornado. Again, that's southeastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois, and the very far extreme northeastern corner of Missouri. We have a 2% chance of an isolated tornado today that covers a lot of Iowa, southern Wisconsin, northeastern Missouri, northern half of Illinois, northern half of Indiana, and southwestern Michigan. Now going to the wind threat for today, we have a 30% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today that covers southeastern Iowa, northern Illinois, northwestern Indiana, and the very far extreme southwestern corner of Michigan. And we have a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today that covers far east central Nebraska, most of Iowa, southeastern Minnesota, northern Missouri, southern half of Illinois, southern half of Wisconsin, central Illinois, northern half of Indiana, far northwestern Ohio, and southwestern Michigan. Now, if you look at the black dashed areas for today, the black dashed areas for today is where we have the black dashed areas encompasses south central and southeastern Iowa, northeastern Missouri, northern half of Illinois, pretty much northwestern Indiana, and just barely includes the southwestern corner of Michigan. Just barely includes Michigan at all for the black dashed areas. The black dashed areas is where we have a 10% chance of seeing hurricane force wind gusts of 74 miles per hour or higher today, which is very possible. So, to see some hurricane force wind gusts. Now going to the northeast, we have a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today. That covers central and west central New York State and north central Pennsylvania. We also have a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today. That covers far southeastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, northeastern Colorado, and far northwestern Kansas. And we have a broad area of a 5% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today. That covers southeastern Montana, eastern half of Wyoming, eastern half of Colorado, most of South Dakota, all of Nebraska, a lot of Kansas, a lot of Minnesota, northwestern Iowa, northern half of Missouri, northern half of Wisconsin, central Illinois, pretty much all of Michigan, southern Indiana, all of Ohio, north central Kentucky, northern half of West Virginia, north central Virginia, Washington, D.C., northern half of Maryland, most of Pennsylvania, which includes my area. Well, pretty much all of Pennsylvania. Again, the 5% chance includes my area of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today, which also includes northwestern New Jersey, most of New York State, which does not include New York City or Long Island. The 5% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today also covers all of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, pretty much all of Massachusetts, southwestern Vermont, and southwestern New Hampshire. Now going over here, we have a 5% chance of damaging wind gusts of 58 miles per hour higher today. That covers southeastern Arizona and the very far extreme southwestern edge of New Mexico. Now going to the hail threat for today, we have a 5% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger today. That covers eastern Nebraska, far northeastern Kansas, northern Missouri, most of Iowa, southeastern Minnesota, northern half of Illinois, far northwestern Indiana, most of Wisconsin, and northwestern Michigan, including the upper peninsula of Michigan. So, the summary for today indicates severe thunderstorms are expected this afternoon and evening across portions of the Midwest, Central High Plains, and the lower Great Lakes. The greatest potential for severe damaging winds appears to be across eastern Iowa and Illinois and Indiana. More isolated, strong to severe thunderstorms are possible across southeast Arizona and the New England region. So, that's the Day 1 Outlook. That is the Day 1 Outlook for today. And I will have the Day 2 Outlook very soon, so stay tuned for the Day 2 Outlook, which I will have a separate video out on the Day 2 Outlook very soon.